Hey, Shalom. First, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakadash, Yahweh, who the world only calls God, Yahweh Shai, who the world only calls Jesus. I want to give a double honor to the apostles, great millstone, was talking this truth. I want to give a peace and blessings to the I came across the four corners of the earth for teaching truth from verse like to do. So it's going to be a quick video. Low in the video is edifying. When I can get something in front of this video, quick video, man, in transit, on the way back to the house. A couple things I was thinking about, man. I had mentioned this in my last video, and I just kind of want to touch on the subject. But I had a business meeting in Austin, in Texas or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And one of my close friends in the world, which really he's my cousin. You know what I'm saying? But before we found out we was cousins, we were best friends in the world, which is kind of crazy since we were like probably 12, 13. You know what I'm saying? And, went to go meet with him or whatever. And, man, I noticed, you know what I mean, that, something was a little odd about him. I've been hearing things about him or whatever, and something was a little odd. And, my mother was like, something's going on with him, he and himself, like, she thought he was on drugs, you know what I mean? I'm like, man, he ain't on no drugs. When I seen him, I'm like, he ain't on no fucking drugs. The woman he's with is a witch. You know what I mean? And she openly said that she was a witch. And I'm not going to express everything. You know what I mean? But, I would just say this. You got to be real careful about, who you deal with. You got to be real careful about, what you tampering with. You know what I mean? If it ain't the truth, don't tamper with nothing. Anything outside of the truth is, like spiritually adultery. You know what I mean? Here it is. You got Jake that, will search for the truth and come across a stumbling block. And they'll trip up. Whether it's in numerology, whether it's in Greek mythology, whether it's in Christian, whether it's Jehovah wickedness, whether it's, Muslim, whether it's being a Moor, right? Mormon, all that shit, right? Jake slip up. You know what I mean? Jake slip up and get caught in a trap of those things, and ultimately because the truth is not for certain individuals. So they get caught in a trap. In that trap that the harlot set. You know what I'm saying? These other philosophies, see, they seem appealing, right? You know what I'm saying? It's like, they seem appealing. They seem like it's the right way. And a lot of these niggas get confused with, what's actually intelligence and wisdom. You know what I mean? They think that just because you can stir up chaos and find a solution to your own chaos, that's wisdom. It's not wisdom. It's not knowledge. You know what I mean? Knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom. Righteousness is wisdom. Getting right is wisdom. You know what I mean? Here it is. A nigga find out what numbers he are and this and that and what, how his birthday line up with it and all this old extra shit. Some bullshit, really. You know what I mean? And he get lost and caught into that. Now this thing got a false sense of pride because he think he knows something that somebody else don't know. When really, nigga, Jake know everything, but it's rooted in nothing. Jake know Jake can tell you about, this, that. Jake can tell you about what he heard. Oh, King James is, I ain't gonna even say it, but they say King James was the other way. Right? That's something you heard, nigga. That ain't something that's a fact. Niggas are going to Greek mythology, right? But don't understand that, homosexuality come with that. Look into it. You know what I'm saying? These niggas be in fraternities, right? Which is Greek. These niggas be in fraternity and be committing adultery like Sodom. It's for initiations and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And why do you think that is? That's what niggas was doing back then. When you go to the book of Maccabees, scriptures clearly tell you that, it was men that went along with the heathen and sided with the heathen. And how do they side with the heathen? Well, they sided with the heathen by doing what the heathen do, practicing what the heathen practice. Keeping the customs of the heathen, eating pork, not circumcising themselves, putting the foreskin back on themselves. You know what I mean? doing after, the heathen putting hell on us, man, so we might as well go along with them. That's what these weak ass jakes are doing, say. As an excuse, but yet they don't fear the Lord. They fear what's in front of them. You know what I'm saying? They fear who's in power. You know what I'm saying? They fear a man that, can also be killed, can also be touched. You know what I'm saying? Jake is like, they sellouts, man. You know what I mean? You niggas, dancing with candy canes and shit like that, spinning around, crumping it. You know what I'm saying? What Uncle Ruckus say? He said, man, them nigga fraternities ain't shit. All them niggas do a bunch of hooping and hollering, dancing while the white fraternities figuring business out. It ain't no better, don't get me wrong. You know what I'm saying? But niggas, love to put on a show. You know what I mean? Love to do the practice, love this, love that. And you ain't reaping, you ain't getting the connections that Esau got. You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, fraternity walked past the camp the other day, or a couple weeks ago. Walked past the camp. All them niggas look fucked up. It was all nigga fraternity, too. I think it was at a black-only college, I guess, or whatever. But, one thing that, my cousin, right, him and his woman was talking or whatever, and I had to fucking, I was there for certain conversations or whatever. I wasn't really indulging in the conversation, being that A, you don't want to show your cake. You know what I'm saying? B, I'm not, like, I'm not really I don't want to have a conversation with your woman. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Even though you're present, I just don't, But they got to talking about certain different things or whatever, and she mentioned, I'm silent. I'm sitting there just, okay, lying at my head, like, okay, right? When she had mentioned that, when him and her when she was pregnant, right, with their baby, that the baby was actually coming, like, in an abnormal way. Like, I think he was coming feet first or some shit like that. You know what I mean? And she was like, she wasn't really panicking or tripping because she had a motherfucking practice or a ritual that she could do to flip the baby back around while it's in her stomach, right? So this bitch talking about she burned something on her toe. First of all, that's how you know it's a demon. Who the fuck burns themselves on purpose? She burned something on her toe, her pinky toe. And I don't know how true it is. I wasn't there for this, obviously, but she burned something on her pinky toe and made the baby flip the right way. That's a witch, man. In the house, is fucking palm readings and all. And mind you, I have no idea what I'm walking into. You know what I mean? So after the business meeting I had, with somebody, that we ended up meeting out there who was big in business, I had to fuck on, man. I went, to, my brother lived in Texas, so I went to his crib or whatever. But, in the midst of that, me and my cousin ended up arguing about perspectives and about intelligence. And, meanwhile, I'm not trying to get into it with him, but, you in a car with a nigga, the nigga just keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going. So, I basically just told him, look, man, it's only one way to do something, and that's the right way. You know what I mean? And that opened. As soon as I said that, I was like putting the match in a box of fire. What? Nigga, how you ignorant for saying that? This and that, woo, blase, blase. And he got to telling me, like, I'm like, bro, so if the objective is we in the car right now, the objective is to get home safely, right? We get home safely, that is the right way, because that was the objective. You completed the mission. He was like, nah, nigga, but it's a bunch of ways you can get to the destination. You can fly to the destination, you can walk to the destination, you can do. And I'm like, bro, like I said, as long as you get to the destination and complete the objective, the whole goal was to get to the destination safely. As long as you got there safely, it was the right way of getting there. But see, what they do is they scramble. I don't know if you ever noticed niggas that's so-called deep. They, throw shit in there like that with that example. Oh, I could fly and get there. I could do this and get there. I could do that and get there. And think that that's intelligent. They so caught up into everything else but the answer. Who gives a fuck if you could fly there? Who gives a fuck if you could walk there? That's not what I'm talking about. It's not this hearsay, nigga. Well, you understand that you know, some people see different colors than you do. I'm like, listen, bro, check this out. I said, look to the right. I said, is that grass green over there? He was like, yeah, it's green. I said, so we both agree that grass is green. I said, if a motherfucker come and tell you that this grass is any different color that we're looking at right now, I'm not even having a conversation with that person because they're not even at base level yet. These motherfuckers ain't even at 2 + 2 yet. So what the fuck is we discussing calculus with them for? Why would I do that? He was like, well, you're not really intelligent because you pick and choose who you have intelligent conversations with. And I'm like, bro, you know how intelligent you got to be to do that? But knowledge of wickedness is not knowledge. It's not wisdom. These niggas want to know everything else. These niggas want to know about, again, numerology, Greek mythology, birthdays, this and that, what signs and stars and all this soul shit that don't fucking matter. Don't got shit to do with your salvation. But yet you niggas want to tap into it because it make you seem like you smart. But nigga, you sound smart to somebody dumb. Not what I told him. Bro, you sound smart to somebody dumb. Stop it. But what happened is he got exposed to the truth. What I ended up finding out, he got exposed to the truth. And like a nigga, he didn't follow it. Scripture says, better if you didn't hear it, and not do it. Roughly paraphrasing the scripture. So niggas think that they could tap in and pull from here, pull from there, pull from there. Nigga go read the Book of Mormon, then go read the Bible. Then from the Bible, go read the Quran. You know what I'm saying? Then go read this book, then go read that book, then mix some other books, some science books in there with it, some numbers and some books about the Moors and this. Man, you niggas is, bro, you niggas, that's what I'm saying. And you can see people like that, don't waste your time. Don't waste your fucking time. Identify them people as they're not on base level. They're not even on base level. They're not there. You know what I mean? So what you got to do is you got to okay a nigga to death. And they kept going. I was like, okay, all right, okay, all right, okay. You know, you got to keep like making niggas shut the fuck up, man. I'm not having a conversation with you, man, about this shit. You know what I mean? And really, the reason why you bugged out, like, your woman is a witch, homie. Ain't no telling what she doing to the food. Ain't no telling what she doing to you. Ain't no sexual magic, all this shit, man. Got you gone. Look like, like my mother said, look like somebody sucking the life out of him. Yeah, because you were a fucking demon, nigga. And like the bro said, man, how much do the Lord hate you for you to get a demon, for you to get a witch? And will acknowledge the fact that she is and brag about it and proud of it. You know what I'm saying? And all these witches, right? So-called witches, which you bitches ain't doing nothing but destroying your motherfucking stuff. But all you so-called witches, right? I just want to let you know this. All right. Most of them hoes be miserable. Most of them hoes be upset. Most of them bitches hate men. And they practice things to try to figure out a man, try to put spells on a man and all this and all that. Show you where their mind is at. You know what I mean? You ain't nothing but a harlot that wants your way in the most evil way. You know what I mean? Bitch doing palm reading. Listen, man. We don't fool with that shit. We don't entertain that shit. We're not to entertain that shit. We're not to even like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're not, these people are just off. And it goes to show you that the everyday person you walking around, bro, the everyday, that everyday motherfucker, you know what I'm saying, that you think ain't on shit, man, he going home or she going home and praying to something and believing in something and doing something wicked, willing, like, worshiping an idol, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these people practice witchcraft, don't even fucking know it. A lot of these people worship gods and don't even fucking know it. That's how fucked up the society is. That's how fucked up the system got you. And you go to all these emblems, majority of them go back to witchcraft. Whether it's on clothing, whether it's on cars, whether it's on food. Majority of them, like 90, like I say 100% of them go back to some type of left hand worship practice. You know You know what I'm saying? So this is what it is. But these same people will tell you that God ain't real and this and that. Okay, so you'll worship demons and praise demons, but yet you'll tell us that God ain't real. Stop it, man. These people, knowledge of the knowledge of this world is stupidity. It's dumb, and it ain't shit but a motherfucker, throwing up a bunch of confusion and figuring out the answer to his fucking confusion and saying, look, I know something you don't. Nigga, you know nothing. You know nothing, man. You know what I mean? You don't know shit. Right? And most Jake won't humble down to be able to know something. Why? Because what? It's not for him. Now, if it is for him, the Lord will wake him up. You know what I'm saying? That go for, all the Jakes that's in the world. You know what I mean? But if it is for you, the Lord will wake you up. The Lord, calls who he wants, picks who he wants, chooses who he wants. He said he will have mercy on who he will have mercy. You know what I mean? So, I just hope to stay in good graces with the Lord. Lord willing, I am in good graces. Lord willing, I am one of his men. Lord willing, I am a prophet. You know what I'm saying? We say that humbly because we don't know. We don't know. But us being in the not know keeps us working. Like the brother said this past Saturday, it was a beautiful point. He said, hey, because if you knew our J kids, if you knew you was a part of the elect, would you really work? No. So the fact that we don't know is what keep us boom, chucking, holding on, clinging on to what we have. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, as soon as I got back from the airport back to the state I live in, man, I pulled up on a brother so he can anoint me, man. You know what I mean? And that was that. You know what I mean? But, that shit, that shit real. You know what I'm saying? And it don't got nothing to do on the men of the Lord. They can't. There's nothing these people could do to the men of the Lord. Because, again, knowledge of wickedness is not knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Just because you tapped in on the left hand, man, all that shit is bullshit. All that shit has nothing to do with righteousness. And it doesn't trump righteousness. Give a fuck what you know. Give a fuck what you can do, which your spells and all. Man, that don't do nothing. That shit is nothing. And it'll do nothing but bring you to your fucking demise. You wicked ass people. You know what I mean? Righteousness is the way. You know what I'm saying? And if you notice, a lot of these podcasts, a lot of these comedians and all that, they starting to talk about the scriptures more. Why you think, man? Because the elders, the truth is coming out, man. The truth is being spread. Bros is pumping shows. Bros are out on the highways and byways teaching and preaching the word. You think these people ain't paying attention? You think these motherfuckers ain't got questions, concerns? You think they don't got no questions today? To what they, like the Bible, questions that the pastor would never or can never answer, that these people still have, and they've been going to church for 10, 15, 20 years and still ain't got their questions answered. And then they click on a video on bros answering questions. Bros answering questions these people didn't even know they had. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, bro, that's what's going on. The truth. The truth is here. You know what I mean? And people are paying attention. We just had Vocab Malone pop up at the camp, man. That dude's a complete demon. And the way he had his minions, running formation. I mean, it's on video. I'm sure he's gonna chop it up and put it online and do what he do for views, make an excuse on why. But he sent, Jacob and Esau to the camp. You know what I mean? And he sent the emotional ass Jake that kept talking and yelling and shit like that. You know what I mean? And then he came out the fucking woodwork like a weasel. This motherfucker with them glasses came out with them fat facing glasses he got. You know what I'm saying? He came out the fucking bushes like a, you know what I'm saying? Looking like a weasel. Pop out of nowhere. And then him and the camera crew came out and 3 or 4 other motherfuckers, maybe 5. Came behind them, you know what I'm saying? And man, long story short, bro stayed and talked for, I won't even say a moment, but because we was already done with camp, and obviously we're not going back and forth with vocab, so eventually we just got the fuck up out of there. And as we were walking away, he was like, "You guys didn't throw up the curses." I'm like, man, all you gonna do is chop it up on YouTube and do this and do that for views and all this shit. Like, you keep fucking with us, going state to state. You obsessed. You know what I'm saying? You obsessed. It's like the fat girl in elementary school that keep following you at recess. You swinging and she behind the tree looking at you. You playing football and she over there sitting on the bench watching you. You know what I'm saying? You in line to get lunch. She right behind you and shit like that, breathing hard. Like, come on, man. You like that person. You just, you need views, man. So the Muslims don't give you the views. Those Amalekites don't give you the views. Those other, those Catholics don't give you the views and all. So guess who you come to? Us. And what you do is you learn a couple scriptures, right? And I'm speaking as a man, but you learn a couple scriptures to make it interesting for your crowd so you can get YouTube views. Because really you want attention. You ain't, come on, man. That's why you got these expensive ass cameras in our face and, talking about, oh, the wicked, we walking away. You know what I'm saying? Because again, we're not trying to go back and forth with them. But we're walking away, and yeah, we did have some dialogue back and forth. I'll say that, you know what I mean. But long story short, we ended up walking away from them, and they got to saying the wicked fleeth when no man pursueth, and this and that with the whoop. Like, all right, sir, all right, man. Like, but it's all it is. The positive side about it is, at least we get to work on patience, man. You know what I'm saying? Because it took everything. Sometimes it take everything, not to. I ain't gonna even say that, but. At least we got to work on patience, man. So with that, man, little videos edifying. Only I can got something from this video. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh. Bahashim Yahweh Shah, Bahashim Kakadash. Brothers keep pushing on to the next shalom.